the bag work about of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me in effect today. As always, ladies first. Porsche, what's good, miss?
How's it going, Kill?
Everything is dope. Everything is dope out here. I love that big piece in the background. Can you
Thank you.
tilt the camera down so folks can see a little bit more?
Yep.
There you
there
go.
It is. Yeah.
Very
I'm
dope.
really excited about it too.
That's dope. Vern out the ATL. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, good people? Glad to be here, man.
You know I've been mad at you all week because that Falcons-Eagles game, but neither here nor
Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah,
What's
exactly. My brother Veg out of BK. What's going on, fam?
What's good, man? I just, I was at Sirius XM for an interview, and I saw a former celebrity from the 90s who, I'm not even, we just gotta wait till we go offline so I can tell you what I saw, because
see, another real Vegas Hollywood.
Wow. Vegas has some stories.
Charlotte Murphy.
it was Kill. It was disappointing.
All right. We would definitely chop it up off camera. But last week, Veg hit me. He was like, yo, you ever done a joint with your top 5 beats ever? And I was like, I probably did. But looking back at it, we never did. So today, we're chopping it up about our top 5 favorite beats. Of course, there's going to be honorable mentions. There's just way too many beats to name. But you know me, at this age of 45, I'm always interested as to why. You know what I mean? So it's not about who's, and y'all know that's just the premise of the whole podcast. There's no right or wrong. It's just why. And then from Vegas' standpoint, prayerfully, if he had time, he'll bang these out. His top 5 favorite beats to rhyme over or freestyle over. You know, him being the MC and me being a producer, I'm gonna kind of break down 5 beats that spoke to me differently than just hearing them, but just breaking down how they were made and why those beats are so crazy for me. But as always, Porsche, ladies first. I think I know where you're gonna go. It's like a game of spades, and it's like I already know what you're gonna lead with. But maybe you'll surprise us, but probably not. Porsche, what is one of the songs that you were gonna throw out with right now?
I'm gonna start with, obviously, I tried to be unpredictable, but I just cannot. I can't not include this beat. It's Troy. They Reminisce Over You. I absolutely love this beat. I love everything about it. And I feel like as I listen to it, the more I listen to it, the more I appreciate the beat and the more I appreciate the samples and the bass line and the horns and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't know what it is. It's almost like the beat has a sort of, I want to say like a vivid imagery on its own. It doesn't even need the lyrics. It's got its own sort of excitement factor and attention grabbing thing to it. So that's why I love it so much. I just can't ever, I don't know. It just, every single time I hear it, I like it that much more. And I thought it wouldn't be possible, but it is. So Troy.
All right, tell me this. Do you remember where you were the first time you heard Troy?
I don't. I honestly don't even remember because I've listened to it so much. I don't remember where I was when I heard it. I know I definitely wasn't in Vancouver, but I can't remember a specific time period or even a specific event. Right. It's just, I remember hearing it and being like, what? Because there's that break and then you're kind of like, wait, what? And it changes and you're like, wait, same song. This is great. So yeah.
I almost felt what you were saying because I always used to say it's like Troy feels like it has its own soul. It
really does. It really, really does.
Yeah. I remember it was a Thursday night, Philly. I'm in my bedroom in my mom's crib, and it was like a radio station in Jersey. I can't remember if it was South Jersey or North Jersey that would play hip hop. And it had to be like 91. I'm still in high school, and I heard it, and it was just the horns. You know what I mean? It's like when I heard that horn, it was just like that. That was it, you know. And then like you said, just everything off of that. But I think horns used to always catch my eye. I remember first time I heard Bucktown, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. You know what I mean? But that Troy horn, that literally may be to me the dopest horn ever used in hip hop. You know what I mean? So
yes, and it always reminds me of Pun on one of the songs. Goes, turn the horns up on the intro to one of his tracks on Capital Punishment. And every time I hear him say that, I picture Troy. And I'm like, it's just the horns. Like, it just gets you. I don't know. And that's why when people are like, yeah, Troy's cool, but I'm like, but what? Like,
yeah.
what are you about to say right after that?
I'll never understand a but with Troy, but
neither do I.
I'll never say this about hip hop stuff, but Troy has made me cry.
Yeah.
That song is beautiful. I mean,
it is beautiful
on so many levels, from a music level, from what the song is about, from a memory level, takes me back to what I was doing at the time that it came out. Yeah, that's one of the on my, like, if you have a perfect song list, that's on it.
Yeah. Veg, what about you?
Never mind. No, I'm good. I've said enough about Troy. Veg, please go ahead.
Veg, do you remember where you was when you first heard Troy, or?
I think I saw the video first, and as you know, like having the visual to go with that record, it just like you said, the horns. You looking at the back of people's Timbs, they got the 40 Belows on.
Right.
You just like, yo, this song is dope before CL even started rhyming. Then he rhymed, and you know, you see in all the family pictures, and it's very relatable because now you're thinking about, you know, your family and your relatives, and then because of what the song is about with Trouble T. Roy, you know, you start thinking about people you lost. So it's a really dope record, from the beat to the lyrics to just the sincerity in the video as they're sitting there looking in the camera. Like, everything about it is just classic. And then I'll say this to those people who don't like hip hop because all they really hear is the curses, all they really hear is the negativity. This is what we talk about when we talk about hip hop artists. This is a song that kind of highlights the artist part of it, from the production. Even though it's a sample, and a lot of, you know, older cats didn't like the sample, and look what they did with it. You know what I'm saying? They created something, because I don't even know what the original song was about. Like, what is that joint about?
Today, I mean, I think he was high on acid or something. I mean, if you listen to that song, I mean, it's very Woodstocky, peaceful. Today, I feel like something.
It's almost like it's hard to even explain what it's about. That's why I'm laughing at Vern. Like, yeah, it does sound kind of like some old. It almost seems like what the cover would make you like, this dude is just playing a saxophone, just you in the field somewhere, and dude just broke out.
Yeah, laying in dirt.
In a field, like Haight-Ashbury type, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely, in the California Dream. It's like you got that whole Woodstock feel vibe to it. You know what I mean? So, But now I know what you're saying. And I think too, another good dope point that you bring up is just what it was about. You know what I mean? With Trouble T. Roy dying, because I remember when I first heard that, I can't. You know, it's funny. One of my kids was asking me, because they're always like, "Yo, OG, you went to school without the internet. Like, what was that like? Like, what was? It's literally like, yo, like you're a dinosaur. Like, what was this like? Like, how did you find out rap?" But it's funny because I asked my mom the same thing. Like, yo, how did you find out Martin Luther King died? Because now I find out on Twitter. You know what I mean? But I can't remember how word got to air. Probably, you know, Street Beat, the radio, or whatever, about Trouble T. Roy dying. But it was just like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And then just him dying, falling off the stage and everything. It was like, oh, like, yo, that's, you know what I mean? And again, I'm still young. I'm a shorty. I mean, I probably had to be 15 or 16 at the time. So I think only thing prior to that was Scott LaRock. You know what I mean? So I wasn't even used to your heroes dying and nothing like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, yeah, Troy, definitely Porsche dope pick. Veg, what you got up?
What are we doing? Favorites?
Yeah. You get them with your favorite. You get them with one. You get them with one of each. Your favorite and a beat that you like freestyling over, or a beat that you rhymed over on one of your mixtapes or something like that.
All right. So a favorite, I got Mobb Deep's "Quiet Storm." Just how that beat builds, man. Like, for one, it's the White Lines joint, classic for a number of reasons. And some cats used to rhyme off of that back in the day. But just what Havoc just brought a darkness to it, and it felt like, well, I would say Prodigy's original with those lyrics, like just real introspective, but from a street level. It was just so many positives about it, because it's like, first is White Lines, then it's Havoc turning it into like a Mobb Deep version of White Lines, and then Prodigy comes on top of it and does something that's just crazy lyrically that you're not even really ready for, you know what I'm saying, as far as him lyrically. And then they do a remix to it and Lil' Kim kills that. Every time I hear that beat, man, it just puts me in the zone, man. It takes me right back to the first time I ever heard it. Every time I hear the beat.
Hey, tell me this. MC, who wrote that rhyme for Kim? Big is dead. You think Kim actually wrote it? Do you think Prodigy wrote it? Do you like? Well, maybe here's a better question. Do you think Kim wrote it, or do you think that's another ghostwritten verse for Kim?
I think Kim was always capable of writing her own rhymes, but I think Big a lot of times would tweak them, or maybe when they were doing her album like with Queen Bee, where he basically wrote it. I think she might have had something, but I'm almost positive, like when she had the La Bella Mafia album, she had like some young cats, I can't remember their name, or the one young cat's name that I know was writing for her. I just don't know how much he was writing for us. So okay. I could see somebody helping out, or maybe she wrote it. But because really, when you look at what she's saying, it's really how she's spitting over the beat more than just what she's saying. It's not like she's put together something that's so intricate that you like, yo, she ain't write that. And then plus, like if you around somebody like Biggie and he's teaching you how to rhyme and how you should flow and blah blah blah, it's kind of like what Lil Wayne and what's his name, Gilly, where Gilly kind of gave him the blueprint on how to do it, so he didn't really need him as much going forward. So it could have been Lil' Kim. I don't know. I don't think it was anybody from Mobb Deep though.
All right, no doubt. Somebody had asked me that last week or a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, yo, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? Because I just, we never know. I think it's just my assumption of, okay, Biggie was alive, Kim shit was crazy, Biggie died, nobody cares about Kim, then she comes back with Quiet Storm remix, everybody loves it again. Like, she's so hit or miss. So it's almost just like, you don't know, but you're just assuming, okay, somebody might have wrote this verse, because if she could write something that's dope, then wouldn't she be doing this more often throughout her career or whatever like that? So
yeah, I just one thing about that's funny you say that, because now you bring it back a memory. Because like when Big died, she did have some heat. It just started to fade after a while. But we always used to say, like when we heard Quiet Storm remix or we hear a dope song from Kim, we'd be like, "Oh, Kim got the rhyme book." Like Biggie didn't write them down. Right. Feel like, yeah, but Kim probably holding on to a couple of joints that he did, and she's just like, "All right, drop this one here, drop this here." So, yeah, but nevertheless, I was gonna say White Lines, Quiet Storm, one of my favorites of all time. Now one I like, well, might as well keep it in the family. One that I rhymed over, all the joints that I'm gonna say I rhymed over, trust me, this is 90s for the most part, because that's when I was active, you know what I'm saying, like as far as writing every day, knew everything I wrote, so it didn't matter. But Mobb Deep's Eye for an Eye.
I love that one.
In high school, in Morgan dorm rooms, you put that on, it's mandatory cipher. Like, if you know what I'm saying, if you can't spit, move out of the circle, just head down to the side somewhere. But man, just because that, for one, it was already a dope record. You know what I'm saying? The way it was, and I know for me, I always used to look at dope songs back then, especially with dope beats. And instead of like emulating the guys who I liked on there, I would feel like, okay, well, what if they asked me to spit on there? What would I kick? How would I fit into that, you know, Mobb Deep, Raekwon, and Nas? Like, will my shit be whack? Well, you know, how am I going to do? So that's kind of how I approached them. And I used to love rhyming over that beat because it just, I don't know, it just kind of reinforced what I was saying. You know, it put me in that bag to like really get my point across in my rhyme. So that was definitely like one of them joints I loved to rhyme over back in the days.
All right, that's dope. That's dope. Here's a funny thing about Quiet Storm with me that always stood out to me. Havoc was known for having these crazy snares. And when you listen to Quiet Storm, listen to the snare next time. That snare is like a pin drop. Like, it'll always bug me out that this song is so hard and P is kicking these crazy bars, and then the snare is like tap. Like, it ain't no shook ones, it ain't no, you know, what was the other joint? Drop a gem on them, you know, and I always was like, yo, like that's why I always be wanting to like get with producers, like, yo, bro, what made you pick that snare? Like, you would think something vicious or this crazy would have this loud, crazy snare that would just, but most people probably have never even paid attention. Just next time everybody listens to White Lines, listen to the snare, and it just, I mean, of course it goes because it's a perfect song, but it just always stood out to me like, yo, why you use that kind of snare? You know what I mean? Or whatever like that. And that may have been the genius of the song. Like, yo, it was already hard enough. We need something to offset it. Or it could have been like, I know as a producer, sometimes I just program a snare. Now, I may leave it there. Like, yo, it could have been like, yo, dog, I really want to go back and change it, but we had already recorded it, and it is what it is. So it could be a million things. So that's just the producer junkie and me wondering that. Vern, what's up with you? What's your first favorite beat?
All right, I'm gonna start with one on the lines of Troy on my list of beautiful hip hop songs. 93 Till Infinity. I mean, as soon as you hear those first chords, it does something to you. I mean, and then I didn't find this out until like this year. You know, I grew up, my uncle is a drummer, so I grew up, you know, listening to a lot of fusion music, and my favorite drummer is Billy Cobham. I did not realize that that's where they got that sample from. Man, but I mean, the chords, the way they flow, it reminds me, I'm gonna tell you a part of the song that used to piss me off at the time, because at the time I was trying to get a record deal and all this stuff, when he was like, if you really dope, why ain't you signed yet? You know, but Souls of Mischief also kind of reminded me of me. You know, they college guys, they went to Cal, Berkeley, and Stanford and stuff, man. So just the way their lyrics were kind of, you know, real brainiac type lyrics, the way the song feels, the horns, and the sample was just dope. So that's one of my favorite ones.
Tell me this, Vern, because you've said this numerous times. What were you doing? Did you rhyme? Were you
I mean, I probably recorded 40, 50 songs. Crazy story. So the reason why Outkast means so much to me, so my boys, Chris and Conrad, they produced on, I want to say All Eyes on Me. They had 2 tracks on there. I had to go back and look. But anyway, at the time, so they knew Rico and all those guys from, you know, in producer circles. We went to the original dungeon and let Rico hear the stuff. They was like, he said, the beats are dope, but your MC, he ain't quite in pocket. And he was right. Because at the time, I used to just say my rhymes instead of, you know, let them flow vague. You kind of understand what I mean by that. So yeah, we actually we went out to LA, did something around on this cat that was supposed to be signed to Motown, but that never came of it or whatever. But yeah, that was my little foray into the music industry.
Yo, bro, you know you have to spit something one day.
Yeah, look,
you already
saw my face.
Bro, I'm not saying tonight. I understand you the closer now. You know what I mean? But one of these days you gonna have to spit something.
I got you. I mean, in a past life when I used to have an afro, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
You got an afro?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I'm all ears for this, man. We gotta get a apartment. So Porsche, Mars was asking me to kick a bar, so you have to get some. We have to get a cipher going or something. So Porsche, write some rhymes. We gotta get somebody to ghostwrite. You got the spirit of Biggie in your house now, so get somebody right.
Porsche look like she could beatbox, man.
Yeah, Porsche. Porsche gonna do the ad libs. You're gonna be like Jones or Jeezy. You gonna hit it.
Oh no! Don't give me the puffy roll.
No doubt. The first joint I got up, man, is "Come Clean," man. That's like,
man, dog. I should have said that first.
One of my favorite pop beats ever. I remember being at Morgan. I don't know when the first time I heard it. I just remember everybody loved that song. I remember shorties who ain't even listening to hip hop was like, "Yo, that song with the raindrops in it." Like, you know, it was like everybody, and that's not a song that the average non-hip hop loving shorty would even like. Like, it was just everywhere, and I remember rumors of it. Oh, Primo hooked up the sampler, the sample water drops coming off the drips in the basement, and everything like that. When at the end of the day, and it's not sample snitching, because everybody on God's earth, you know, is the Shelly Man joint, which is just crazy to me. I mean, dude is a drummer. Like, I don't even know where you even came up with them water drops for that. And then just everything about it is just crazy. You know what I mean? Every J. Rue's rhymes are crazy. You know, one of the things I loved about Primo was he was always, and one of the things I miss, I feel like now he just scratches the scratch, when back in the day, like, those samples were perfect for the song. Like, you know, that Onyx, we dropping some shit, like, that just went perfect with the song. And I remember, I think Primo was saying, Fat Joe jumped out the car one day with that playing. He was like, "Yo, have you heard?" Like, shaking Primo, like, "Have you heard this shit? This shit is crazy." And Primo was like, "Yeah, I did that." And Joe's like, "Oh shit!" Like, yo, you know. So "Come Clean" to me is just like, yo, that to this day, the drums, just everything.
Drums, my God.
Just everything about that song is just, again, similar to Troy, just perfect to me. You know, the way J. Rue sets it off, just the video, just everything about it. Now, one of the beats that, and I'll call these beats that just messed up my head, you know, from a producer standpoint, I'll start off with Combs doing it off Like Water for Chocolate. I remember getting the vinyl in that 88.9. This is coming off of One Day It'll All Make Sense, which is my favorite Comm album, so I'm hyped. On top of that, I see Dilla's name on it, so I'm even more hyped. I put on doing it. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. This is dope. Like, yo, Common's throwing shots at Puff. He's throwing shots at everybody. This is dope. And then I forgot how I found out or where I found out. Maybe OK Player. I don't know where, but somebody was like, maybe it was one of Quest stories, and he was like, he was digging with Dilla and was at his crib, and he was like, yo, make something out of this. And he throw Rick James, Give It To You on. And I was just like, nah, that ain't no way in hell that doing it is Rick James, Give It To Me, baby. Like, that's impossible. And then it's, you know, once you start listening to, when you hear the bass tones, you hear how Dilla took the different pieces of the bass from Rick James, and then took that and then just rearranged it himself. And then it just literally, like, I was just dumbfounded. Like, for, again, most samples, and again, from doing Milk Crates at 88.9, and my man, a kid called Root, started, where he would play the original sample and then play the way the rapper used it. 98.9% of the times, if I play you the original sample, you're gonna hear it. You know, if I play you Troy, you hear it. If I play you Come Clean, you hear it. Yo, there's no way in the world, without Quest telling that story, I would have went to my grave not knowing that that dude used Rick James for doing it, because it sounds absolutely nothing like it. And that's why I always tell people, like, that's why Dilla's my GOAT, is probably because I'm a producer. Because to you know, average hip hop ear, you know, that may not mean a lot. You know, maybe like, oh, okay, that was nice, he did that. But to a producer's ear, it's like, yo, you give me Rick James, you give me that record, I tell you this, I'm not making do it. I can tell you that. I don't know what I'm gonna make, but I'm not making that. You know, and 9 times out of 10, whatever I do make, you will still be able to tell it's Rick James. Just use Rick James on Kingdom Come, and he chopped the hell out of it. I love that beat, but again, you can tell it's Rick James. So that's the other thing with when producers talk about chopping, there's all kinds. It's like I always say, we all have different definitions for the same word. You hear that J joint, and I mean, just killed that. But at the end of the day, you still know it's Rick James. So that's like chopping on level one, where you can take the sample. It's not like he just looped it like, you know, can't touch this for Hammer. He really chopped the hell out of it. But then there's like level two of chopping, where you don't even hear the original song or the original record in the beat at all. That's what Dilla does a lot of times. So when people are like, why is Dilla number one? It's stuff like that, to where you don't even hear the original song whatsoever going on in there. So I got doing it. You gonna say something, Vag?
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I didn't know that, and now when you said that, I'm thinking of, all right, I'm to Give It To Me Baby in my head. Then I'm thinking of doing it. Now I'm hearing how he chopped it, and that is because it's like now you hear the song, but this dude just made another record out of it, but it's still there. You know what I'm saying? If you know it's Rick James' sample, you still hear it in it without it being almost like a remix or a carbon copy. So yeah, that's ill, man.
And it's crazy. And on the 12-inch of doing it, I don't think on the album version of Like Water for Chocolate, it does this on doing it, but on the 12-inch, at the end of the song, you hear the bass notes, so you can hear it even better. You know what I'm saying? But I think the way it ends on the record, it just ends. It doesn't, you don't hear, like, it doesn't fade out with the bass notes. But even hearing the 12-inch with the bass notes, I still would have never put together Rick James, Dilla doing it. And again, this is stuff that this nigga used to do for fun. Like, Quest would just be like, take this record and make something. Like, and this nigga would make doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody like me, Veg, if you come over, like, do this shit for fun. It may never even get heard. You know, it may be a throwaway. But this dude is like, doing on some like Jay-Z, like lyrical gymnastics. This dude is doing like production gymnastics, like, and it's becoming dope songs too. These ain't becoming just throwaways. These are becoming dope songs. So that was it for me. Porsche, what's another one for you, miss?
I got Shook Ones, part 2, and I love that. I think Havoc is I think all of my favorite producers are like magicians, because they can take things and make it sound absolutely brilliant. And Havoc did this with this track. I read somewhere that he took a piano beat and slowed it down so much that it actually sounded like a bass guitar. And for me, I was like, what? And so I went back and listened, and I'm like, oh my God, I would have no idea that was originally a piano sound. It does sound like a bass guitar. So for me, Shook Ones Part 2, it's recognizable. Again, it's got character. The beat without the lyrics has the character that Mobb Deep, we know and love from Mobb Deep, and I love that. So Shook Ones Part 2.
Yeah, crazy thing about Shook One Part 2, that could easily be on my list for producers too. It's a Herbie Hancock sample, and the crazy thing is this is one of the samples that diggers didn't know for years. I mean, years. This is like one of those that took, I'm talking 10, 12 years of going by before anybody ever put this together. You know what I mean? And that's hard, because especially in probably around 95, 96, a lot of dudes, you had my man Phil the Soul Man out of Philly was doing it. Fusion out of Baltimore was doing it. Again, shouts to my man, a kid called Roots from Queens up at 889. He was the first I knew who was even doing this whole milk crate phenomenon of original and playing that. But a lot of people was doing that, and nobody could find the Shook Ones. You know what I mean? And that's another testament of people's digging game, and not only your digging game, but then freaking it on the equipment, to where you got people who are, it's almost like there was a time, and I think that this is true, that labels actually had diggers like me or Roots or somebody like that working for them, and their whole job would be listen to hip hop albums, find us the samples, then we'll reach out to the original artist. So basically you was a snitch. You was basically a hip hop snitch. Yeah, basically, like, that's it. Like, you would snitch to the lawyers. The lawyers would go after the original artist and say, hey, did you know Jay-Z, sampled your song and he just sold 8 million records? Would you like to bring a suit against them, type thing? So the fact that you have these feds who are looking for everything that you used, and nobody could find it. You had the feds looking for it. You had diggers looking for it, and nobody could find it for years. That's a testament to the game. And then also to salute Havoc with this dude had just started making beats. with Shook Ones. And that first album, like, this ain't no dude who had been making beats for his whole life to do something like that. This is like some dude just came up under Large Pro and was doing it. You know what I mean? So that's like an extra salute to have for that, because that could have easily been one of my favorite producer beats. But yeah, I definitely feel you on Shook Ones. And then I remember Vague being at Morgan, I guess it's 95. They used to have a road skating rink over on Pennsylvania Ave off on the west side of Baltimore. Yo, Shook Ones, everybody would lose their mind. You know what I mean? Like and it goes back to what I always say, and I'm not going down this street, but people act like before Bad Boy, nobody danced. Like, I remember putting on Shook Ones, and every girl lost their mind. Everybody's on the floor with their skates, and everybody is going and enjoying. I mean, everybody knew the words. It was just like dope as hell. Like, it's like, before Puffy came, there was no clubs. Like, this nigga invented the club. Like, nigga, we've been going.
He invented the remix.
Yeah, I mean, we've been going disco taps before Puff. People was partying the basement parties before Bad Boy. Niggas would party. Yeah. And Shook Ones was one of those songs that I'm just saying would always, like Ben say, turn the party out. Shook Ones would always like just get everybody. I don't care if you was having a bad night, you just got this. Your girl just broke up with you, just got jumped. You are gonna get hyped when you hear Shook Ones. So definitely a dope pick, Porsche. Vague, what you got up for another joint, bro?
Another one of my favorites, man. Rakim, Microphone Fiend. You talk about a knock. Oh my God! Like, he didn't even need to rhyme over it, but he come on. He kind of letting it breathe.
Yeah.
I was a fiend before I came to team with the echoes, and man, I just like this is what dope hip hop does. But I'm gonna go back to the '80s with it. Like, that's the type of record you walk into a birthday party and that's on. You feel like they put that shit on for you. You know, and you feel like you in the video. Like, you know what I'm saying? You seeing yourself walking in, like, yo, what up? Like, you ain't just saying what up in the same way to people. Like, they're like, yo, what the fuck is up with you? But that's, it was just one of them beats, man. And I just remember, like, the first time I heard it, it's how it, again, just like with Quiet Storm, it's kind of like how it builds, you know what I'm saying? When they add certain parts, and then, I don't know, the instruments or whatever, maybe it's drums, but it's just the way them shits was just knocking in that song, man. And then Rakim taking shots at Kane, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna go down there.
Whoa, 20-second timeout. What shots? What shots?
Well, what's the line? Smooth operator operating correctly.
Oh, okay. I never even put two and two together, man. I never even did.
I think Kane highlighted that recently. Somebody said that recently. I think it was Kane that highlighted that, and how, it was some slick lines here and there going back and forth. And I loved Kane back then, but that beat was just ridiculous, man. It was one of those things where I'm like, there's other rappers and then there's Rakim.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why we call him the God. Like, he was putting out stuff like that back then. And well, I might as well keep it in family. Another track that I like to rhyme over, Kane, Big Daddy Kane's Young, Gifted, and Black. Now, I did a freestyle recently over it, but Nas done killed it, Jay-Z, Fabulous, Jadakiss. Like, it's just one of those beats. I mean, well, Kane killed it also. Since it was the original beat, it almost sound. I remember when I heard Nas's freestyle over it, I knew I recognized it, but I couldn't remember where I recognized it from until somebody was like, "Yeah, that's the Young, Gifted, and Black from Kane joint." And then I was thinking, like, damn, that beat was on Kane first album. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you talking about Nas rhymed over it in like the mid to late 90s. Jay-Z rhymed over it in the late 90s, almost into the 2000s. And same thing with Jadakiss and Fabulous. That's just a timeless beat, man. It has some serious legs, and I don't think a lot of people knew where it really came from. But as a spitter, man, again, it's crazy. I mean, like, you can go listen to my version. on Vegas World Inc.bandcamp.com. But yeah, man, it just kind of puts you in the zone as an MC, man, and you gotta be, if you can't rhyme over that, you I'm sorry, you just can't. You ain't even gotta be deep with it.
Yeah, I think it's that build up too. That dun, 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 dun. It's like, yo, that I remember first listening to Long Live the King, not Long Live the King. That's on this Big Daddy thing joint. And just that was definitely always one of my favorite joints. And Kane, the Microphone Fiend, man, that you hit the nail on the hammer with that. Like that. I just was like, yo, what is? It's like time stood still, and it was like, yo, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm a minority in this. I never really loved the beat for Follow Me. You know what I mean?
No, you're not by yourself. I'm with you on that.
I like the song as a whole, but the beat itself, you know, coming off of my melody and Eric B. is President and you know, Got Soul and all of that, I was like, this is cool, but when I heard Microphone Fiend, like, yo, that it was just the rap. And then one of the things that I loved was the drums at the end.
At the end,
right? You know, the crazy thing is, prayerfully, I'm not snitching. I loved how Alchemist used those drums from the end of Microphone Fiend for this joint called Marathon for Dilated Peoples. A lot of people don't know it. If you're not a Dilated fan, you probably never heard the song, but I think the song is incredible. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's called Marathon. I want to say it was off the Neighborhood Watch, but Al used those drums. And I thought the whole song was just incredible, you know, and it kind of goes into detail of how, I don't know who produced it because there's so many ghost credits dealing with Eric B and Rakim. You know, did Marley do stuff over there? Did Large Pro do this? You know, I heard Eric B was like the East Coast Suge Knight. So we God knows who did what. But whoever did that, because then remember Special Ed used the same Average White Band sample for you know, and Think About It was cool, but it ain't had that same knock that Microphone Fiend had. So again, this goes to show you how two producers can use the same sample, but one version is just so much bigger and better. I say the same thing about the Beat Miners using the same Little Boy Blue sample that just used for Jay-Z's PSA for Stay Real. Black Moon had Stay Real, Jay-Z had PSA, and you can just hear the difference of the, you know, how Just is just bigger than the Black Moon joint right there. So
Too Short used it too. For, Life is Too Short. Yeah, Too Short did use that.
I just remember Special Ed using it. I was like, it almost made me say Think About It was whack. Like for years, I'd be like, well, that shit whack. You know, I didn't even listen to it because it was just like, bro, if you ain't coming like this, bro, you know, like, what's the point of even doing it over? But I also have to remember during those times, a lot of producers, you know, may have made stuff not knowing another producer had used it. Therefore, it didn't necessarily have to be a bite, like how I felt like Meek using Biggs Was Beef. You're taking What's Beef. You didn't just accidentally come across around the same sample at the same time. Whereas I think a lot of these producers back then, they're digging together, they're finding the same record. So, but yeah, it just wasn't nowhere as big as Rakim's Microphone Fiend. Vern, what's another one for you, good brother?
The name of this ish here is La Fleur, La Fla, Escocia. Man, that bass line is my favorite bass line. Well, shoot, I'd say top 5 favorite bass line I've ever heard in a hip hop song, man. It's just so dark, and the beat is mellow. And what I love about that song is who they have on it. I mean, what made Sean Price and Ruck and Rock so dope? They could be talking about chopping your neck off, but they'll make you laugh. They kind of remind me, like I said, vague. You remind me of Sean P. because you serious, but you have us rolling in laughter, man. And so with that dark, mystic beat along with them lyrics, man, La Fleur, that's one of my joints.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing behind La Fleur. I loved it. I wanted the Fab Five album. I think that actually, to me, would have been the OGC first album was cool. You know, with some bangers on there. But I would have loved that Fab Five album just with the 5 of them. But the crazy thing was the Beat Miners ended up using that same sample on Bahamadia's first album, which I thought was whack and lazy because I'm like, bro, how you going to use the same sample you used for La Fleur, like, which was again, this is 90s hip hop, y'all out there who are watching. Like, people, I call something a hit. They'd be like, these new school people, like, where did it chart at? We didn't have to chart nothing back in the 90s to be like it was a hit. Because somebody was going to hit me like, oh, come on, OG, that wasn't number one nowhere. It ain't go gold. Like, a hit was just a hit. So I just was like, yo, how y'all gonna use this sample for La Fleur, and then turn around and give it to Bahamadia? And if you listen to the Bahamadia track, it's like nowhere as dope as La Fleur. So
I can believe that.
Huh? What you said?
I can believe that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even, I know you don't rock with Bahamadia, and it's not even her fault, but just the beat itself. Like, just if you put the instrumental on and put the instrumental of Fab Five on, it's just like, bro, why would you who does that? Who uses the same sample? And you are the producer. It's not like you got Jack. Like, no, you are making the conscious effort of saying, okay, I use these horns for Troy. Let me use the same damn horns again for somebody else. And then it's not even as dope as it was for Troy. Like, so, but yeah, La Fleur was crazy, man. That was just stupid at that time. The next joint I got for me, Ain't No Half Stepping, man. You know what I mean? Like, when I heard that, I was like amazed. Like, I was just like, yo, this is crazy, you know, and digging, like, that was one of the first records, like, I wanted to find. Like, you know, at the time, it was my man, Cool DJ Frank, and his older brother had a lot of records, and it was the Emotions, and it was just like, yo, I gotta find this record, like, you know, to find out what the original was, because that thing was just so amazing. It was so crazy. It was just Kane. It was to be, again, perfect hip hop song. You know what I mean? It was almost crossover without crossover. You know what I mean? Like, it was like you could play this on the radio, you could play this in the club, you could play this on the block or whatever like that. So it was just crazy to me. Thinking about that, let me ask y'all a question, because this has been coming up a lot lately, and just want to know everybody's opinion on this. So I don't know if there's like a 20-year rule in hip hop snitching or something, but like for years, ain't nobody ever say nothing bad about Marley Marl. Then about 5 years ago, everybody named mother from the Juice Crew. Marley ain't do shit. We brought the records and da-da-da. I'm like, yo, niggas, how y'all bringing this up 20 years later? Like, nobody wanted to bring this up in the source. Like, nobody wanted to bring this up, but so people are like, and I was talking to somebody on Twitter about it, and they're like, look, I feel like if I bring you the record, then I'm the producer. You have the person, and Marley, like, because I believe Biz brought records, because Biz is a record collector. He's a digger since day one. So Biz brings these records to Marley's house and gives them to Marley, and, you know, Marley produces it. But now Biz, Kane, even Shan is saying it now, that Marley ain't do nothing. We brought the records, everything like that. I'm gonna get to you, Vern. I think my thing as being a producer is, I'm like, again, we just talked about it with Microphone Fiend. Just because you give me the record doesn't mean I'm going to be able to add the elements that make the song a song. Like, and it's why I like whosampled.com, because shit, I use it all the time because I don't feel like digging through all these records at 45. But I like that it breaks down how many songs were sampled for a particular song, because just because Kane gave Marley the Emotion break, he didn't probably give him the ESG break too that's in there. He probably didn't give him the Heat Wave Ain't No Half Stepping sample that's in there too. And maybe he did. I don't know. But I just don't think the regular dude, like Marley being a DJ and his older brother being a DJ, and from the stories I heard about the park jams Marley's brother would play, that's how you would hear all those beats. Like the Samandi sample that Marley used for Master Ace's Me and the Biz. Marley was like, yo, we used to play that shit in the park all the time. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know, even if Kane heard that song, would Kane know, oh, that was Samandi, and oh, I want to use it like this. And, you know, so I believe Diamond used to give co-production credit to you. No money, but he would give you the co-production credit. So if you read Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, you'll see co-produced by Lawrence Professor, co-produced by, then all that meant was that person gave Diamond the record. But what are y'all thoughts? You know, do you think if you bring the record, you're the producer? The most I have ever said is I'll do a dime. I'll give you co-production credit, but I'm not giving you no money because I'm the one who had to hook it up. You had to come to me. Kane had to come from Brooklyn to Queensbridge. Vague, how long is that?
Maybe like 45 minutes, I think.
So you had to go from Brooklyn to Queens, and from what I've heard from a bunch of Brooklyn and Queens niggas, a lot of Brooklyn and Queens niggas don't like each other. So you got to come from your neighborhood to another project to go to Marley. Like, if you was the producer, do that shit yourself. You know what I mean? But Marley was the only person with equipment. Vern, what you got on it?
If I go to the store and buy, steak and flour and brown sugar,
I like this.
And eggs, and bring it home and put it in the kitchen, and my wife whip it up, who cooked it?
I like it. I like
Come
it.
on, that's ludicrous to me. I mean, I've done that. I'm like, hey man, that would be dope right there. But my boys know how to produce it, how to chop, how to make the samples fit, how to sequence it, how to quantize all that stuff. I'm not a producer. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you. I agree with you 100%. Porsche, what about you? What's your thoughts?
What's the question again? Sorry, the audio cut out for a sec.
Porsche, like, I ain't been listening to y'all. I was saying if Kane brings the record to Marley, people are beefing saying Marley's not the producer because they brought the records to him. Well, who do you think is right or wrong, or who do you think is who should get the production credit?
I just find that production credits are just so gray area. I don't, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, Kill, I have no idea, because you can argue either or, right? Like, someone could say, well, no, I took it there, and then this person can say, well, I'm the one who put it together. But it's like, well, if I didn't take it there, then what were you going to use? I don't know. I'm neutral on this.
All right.
Hey, Kill, let me say one more thing. So, how many other dope albums or hits did Big Daddy Kane or whoever these other people are who said that they brought the records to Marley make?
Not a lot. Which leads me back to like my little Kim comment of, you gotta have somebody writing, because Big dying shouldn't affect what you do at all. You know what I mean? Similar to how people, when Daz will be like, I made the Chronic. And I'm like, nigga, I've never heard shit out of Daz that sounded anything to the level of the Chronic. So if you made the Chronic, nigga, you should be making stuff on the same level as the Chronic. Again, not saying Daz isn't a dope producer.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you can make the Chronic in Doggy Style, it's almost what Jay say. You make
another one.
Make another one, Daz. If you made the Chronic in Doggy Style, nigga. Again, I'm not saying dog food isn't dope, but dog food ain't Chronic or Doggy Style. So I'm just of that mindset. We're not in the studio, but I can't add 1 + 1 = 2. If you made the Chronic and Doggy Style, nigga, make another one. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So that's it. Hey, what are your thoughts on it?
I kind of feel like, one, to speak to Daz, maybe he can't make the classic, but he did make some of those beats, and you do hear it in his production. The production that we know he did.
Right.
Like in song, because his style is different from Dre's. His style is more like funk party type style, like Doggy Dog World, and some of the stuff he did for Tupac. Maybe a little bit more like DJ Quick, but almost there. Mm-hmm. But I kind of feel like, I don't think if I bring somebody a record, I'm the producer, because they're the ones making the song out of the sample or whatever it may be. Now, I will say this: there's plenty of times where I have the capability of digging, because I was a DJ first. You know what I'm saying? I was probably going to be a producer. I had a little 4-track joint and all of that. But once I started rhyming, I gravitated towards that. So it's a thing where I know how to find the samples. I know how to spot a sample on the record and say, yo, if you do it like this, like that. I may not have learned the technique to the technique to actually do it. But if I did, I could be just as good, because I'm already doing a lot of the beginning of the work. You know what I'm saying? Like the recipe, so to speak. You may have cooked it, but whose recipe is it? So you can go both ways. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I still don't think that makes like somebody like Kane the producer, because Marley put it together. And like you said, yeah, maybe you brought Marley that sample, but maybe Marley had the idea to add more to it. So maybe it's more of a co-production with to me, I would lean more heavy on Marley because he's the producer. Because the same thing with Ramen, man. Like, cats don't even want to believe stuff like this, but like, Cormega had gave Nas lines and stuff during it was written and stuff like that, but Cormega ain't ghostwrite for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave him a line and I liked it, and yeah, it came from Cormega, and Cormega can't even duplicate the record that Nas did. But he ain't the ghostwriter, you know what I'm saying? He's a distributor, basically.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like the gray area sometimes, not with everything, but the gray area where somebody may have the capability of thinking like, Kill, you probably could think of all kinds of hip hop concepts and stuff like that, but you may feel like I ain't got no time to write that, or I don't really know how to execute it if I had to write it down.
Right.
But if I'm about this from this perspective and blah blah blah, it would be ill. And then I take that idea and I turn it into a song. I feel like you co-writer, you know what I'm saying? Because you kind of had that idea there, but it's levels to it. Because Kill, a lot of producers aren't you. There's some producers where they just push buttons, though. You got to be like, nah, put this here, because you're used to working with better producers where you ain't got to tell them nothing. You just sit back and they create it. So I think it's just levels to it at some point. But wait, one last thing. I think dudes was coming out and talking about Molly because maybe it was like sacrilegious at one point to even say anything. And once one person was able to just say what they probably always been saying in the shadows, then that's when everybody just started to be like, oh yeah, I remember I brought him, this sample. So
right. Porsche, she was going to about to say something?
Sorry?
I thought you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, to Vegas's point, I think there's definitely levels to it, but at the same time, I just feel like if an argument can be made for someone taking a particular record to somebody and being like, well, you use that as my sample. If I didn't give that to you, this track wouldn't even sound like that, because you would have to find your own or another sample entirely. So I can get co-production credits. So yes, like, I think I have to agree with Vegas. There are levels to it. And I think at the end of the day, how much was your contribution used in making the final product, and that would decipher how much credit you would get for it. Like if Cormega gives Nas like a word and Nas uses it, like, is that really the rhyme? No. But if he gives him like a verse and that makes the song what it is, then sure, that would be a contribution worth mentioning. That's just how I think of it.
No, I think Veg hit it on the head with there being levels, because I love Burns' analogy, because I use that all the time too. If you're just bringing me the record, you're literally just going to the store and getting the food from me. That's all you did. You know what I mean? Now, like Veg said, level 2 is, do you have the recipe? Are you going to the store and you now saying, and here's how you cook it? Which will be, for me as a producer, you bringing the record and then saying, hey, I want to sample from this part to this part. I want you to loop this part 4 times. And here's the wild part to me. Nobody has ever been in the studio with me making beats, because I never wanted to deal with this bullshit. You know what I mean? So nobody could ever say, oh, I helped. Nobody has ever. The only person who's ever been in the studio with me making beats is Tanya once, and she fell asleep. Like, it was boring as shit to her. She literally fell asleep in here. And only 2 people in my life all these years, my man Mills gave me a sample, and my man Randy, my man Drizzlo's man, gave me a sample twice and said, use this for Driz. Like, literally, because I never wanted anybody talking about this shit. Like, yo, we gave Kill this record. You know what I mean? We just deviate, because I heard all these stories of being at 88.9 all through the 90s and hearing all these side stories from people. It was like, you know what? Just to keep my name out of any of this hoopla, if I blow up, I ain't taking nothing from nobody. I'm a digger. I don't want nobody giving me nothing. I'll find it myself. I don't want nothing to do with nothing. I think you kind of have to put that out front. Like, I write scripts now. I have about 5 or 6 people I send the scripts to, and I let them know, like, yo, I just need your feedback. If you tell me, yo, I think you should make this character do that, you're not getting no credit. Like, my nigga, this is literally, and if you can't deal with that, then fuck it, I'll X your name off the email list. But Because then that'll happen. Then it'll blow up and it'll be like, oh no, because I wrote that. Because I told Kill to have a character not die in that scene. So just to alleviate all of that, I'm always about business up front before anything even happens. Veg, you were about to say something?
Yeah, like just to bounce off of one of your points, I think like when they came to you with the record or the sample for the joint with Driz and say, yo, use this for Driz, there's a trust level there because they know like you're gonna find whatever it is that's in there that they heard because they know you and they know you're gonna turn it into something they gonna like. Like for example, the joint I did with Sakani and Ak, the superheroes joint, where you know we rapping, we playing a role of different superheroes, but like pimps or whatever. I found that sample. Well, I guess I'm gonna give it away now. Not if anybody didn't get it, but watching Dolomite, Human Tornado. I seen that movie 1,000,000 times. The intro come on, and I'm just sitting there like, and I'm working on a project, and I'm like, nigga, that would be a dope ass beat. And as I'm thinking, listening to the beat and rewinding that intro to in the movie, now the idea for the song come to me. So I go to Ak and I'm like, yo, Ak, right here in this. They play the beat for a minute. This is what we rapping about. You know what I'm saying? Do you? You know what I'm saying? And I knew all I had to do was just hear what I hear, and he was like, yo, say no more. And he did exactly that. And you know, there was things that I liked about the beat where I'm like, yo, why you take that out? Put that shit back in. But it was more of a collaborative effort, but I trusted him because I knew like we was on the same wavelength. He was going to hear exactly what I was hearing, and I could just fall back and just wait for him to say, yo, here it is. So yeah, it happens, but there's some producers, Kill, you know this.
That would definitely be that idea. And I think for me, the other reason why I can't do stuff like that is because I say it every day on Twitter. Music talks to me differently. So there are times when I may hear a sample, like I turn on the machine, I'm ready to make a beat. Usually I have a beat in mind that I want to make, and I'm looking for that sample. So I may come across 4 other samples that day that I'm like, yo, these are dope. Let me put them to the side, but that's not what I'm trying to make today. So even when Randy came to me with the sample, like, yo, use this, I was like, I don't really like it. You know what I mean? And even when I made the beat, I didn't like the beat. You know what I mean? They loved the beat and they spazzed on it, but I was just like, because the sample is weird. Like, music really fucking speaks to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it literally is like, I don't like that sample. Like, I wouldn't use that. So that's another reason. But definitely dope conversation. What you were saying about Marley coming out too, but mad niggas be doing it too. Like, you know who came out maybe a year or two ago? Tone from the Trackmasters was like, yo, I produced Who Shot You. And it was like, dog, like, Who Shot You been out for 30 years. Like, dog, why are you bringing this up now? And then he was like, yeah, Nasheen found a loop, but Nasheen made the beat, but then Puff hit me like, yo, nigga, drums ain't hitting hard. I need you to come in here and put this work in. And Tone is like, he came in and so, but for Tone, he like, yo, I produced Who Shot You. But again, nigga, why you ain't say that 12 years ago? Like, that's why I'm always joking. Like, is there a 20-year no snitch policy in hip hop? And when that date hit on my watch, boom, Vlad, come on, I got something to tell you. Like, why Who Shot You is one of Biggie's dopest songs, one of people's favorite beats. Why wouldn't you have said this back when that joint was made? Like, why are you waiting 20 years? That's like somebody saying, I wrote The Matrix now. Like, nigga, you ain't want to say that 22 years ago when The Matrix came out? Like,
it's can you say it? It's not always will you. Sometimes it's like, I don't know if it's a goon situation or a contractual situation. Right. But maybe them statutes of limitations is passed. Right. And, you know, it's just like, you know what? I'm telling all now. Probably made a beat.
Nah, you're right.
Them dudes sound like, man, like I went to my 29th year all class party. Jokers talking about, man, I could have went with such and such, you know, back in 89. Like, you 46 years old. First of all, I don't care. And secondly, I don't believe you. You know, bro, the time has passed.
Right. That was it. But Vay got a good point. Maybe it was the clothes. But I'm just like, bro, there ain't no way I made come clean and I'm letting Premier living off that shit for the past 30 years. Like, nigga.
But what do you get out of it now, though?
I mean, I guess for them, it's like now I can put that on my joint. Like I can put that on my track record. Like, you know, Tone was saying that that's how production credits would get messed up because he was like, we didn't have email back then. So you couldn't just email somebody the credits. You had to write them down, have your lawyer send it to the record label. And if the record label don't get them in time. And so like Portia said, you know, that's why to me, there's so much gray area. And that to this day, I don't know who made Microphone Fee. I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't know who made Follow the Leader. You know, I know Large Pro made some of the songs on Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, but you got Eric B saying Marley didn't make Eric B as president in My Melody. You know, so like Porsche said it best, like who knows what it is, because again, we all have the different definition. And then it may be when the MCC, oh, the producer's making all this money. Oh no, the hell with that. I want a lawsuit. So you know, you had Ghost suing RZA over some stuff. And I think Ghost is married to RZA's sister. You know what I mean? So you got families beefing over, you know, money like that. So, you know, maybe it was like, oh, I didn't know, you know, that this producer, me and Vega, producer MC combo, we just coming up and we chilling. And they like, nigga, why you got 5 Lexuses and I got 1? Like, what's good? You know, so then it may be, well, nah, nigga, I helped make them beats or whatever. We don't know who. Parrish says he made the beats on the EPMD album. Eric said he made the beats on the EPMD album. I got a magazine, Big Daddy from London, with business saying he made the records for EPMD's album because he brought the records. So, like Porsche said, there's always going to be a gray area with hip hop production because everybody has their own different definition. My bad, Vern. Which one of your joints? I don't even know who I left off.
Nah, it's
Porsche.
Yo, my bad. I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah.
No, my bad. I started with Ain't No Half Step, and that's what started all this stuff. My producer beat is B.I. versus Friendship by Gangstar. This Isaac Hayes joint. I think it's off the Chocolate Chip Cookie album. I'll find it when I go to Porsche. But he destroyed that sample. And I'm talking about when you listen to the original versus what Primo did to that joint. Again, it's just crazy. It's one of them joints where people have come over and I'm like, yo, listen to this. And they're like, I don't hear it. I'm like, listen again. And like, I still don't hear it. Like you literally damn near have to recreate the beat for them to be able to hear it. So B.I. versus Friendship, Gangstar, Primo, definitely screwed up my head. Porsche, what's another one of yours, miss?
Another one of mine is Dollars and Cents by DJ Quick. I'm just like tired of people sleeping on DJ Quick. I think Quick has tremendous contributions to West Coast production, just production in general, but more so West Coast production. And he's constantly overlooked and people are like, yeah, well, he's okay. And I'm like, okay. Like, no, DJ Quick is like a pillar of West Coast hip hop. So that's beyond me. But anyways, Dollars and Cents, I love it because it's a diss track first and foremost, but the beat is actually more like it's a happier beat, and I think it's so dope that he put that against something that was dissing MC8 actually so brutally, but the beat is so pleasant, and it's such a contradiction, but it just sounds amazing, and Quick is brilliant. The beat is dope, and the track in general is great, so check it out if you haven't. But
Porsche, let me ask you this. Because you know you got me to listen to DJ Quick. It's not a secret. I'm not the biggest DJ Quick dude. I like the album, but tell me this: why do you feel like he's so slept on? Because I hear from so many people how dope Quick is, but what do you think like made him not be like? Why do you think his name isn't? Because I hear people all the time say Quick is better than Dre. I've heard that from a lot of people who I respect him.
So I think,
what do you think is that kept him Quick from number one, even being mentioned by people? And then 2, what do you think made Dre so much? Why do you think people think Dre is so much better than Quick?
I don't think that Dre is so much better than Quick. I think it's more, Dre is more in everyone's face than Quick. Quick like kind of goes under the radar a little bit. And he's not as loud and as like, I don't know, in your face and flashy as Dre is. So he doesn't own, beats and then make these multi-gazillion dollar deals and then makes front page. Like you don't really hear about him. And I think that it's not so much more about who's better, more so than who's more popular. And I think that Dre is obviously more popular than Quick, so he's the go-to for West Coast. And he did, like, I'm not going to discredit what Dre did. I have Dre on my list here. They're just different. Dre kind of took what Quick did and kind of put his own spin on it. And then that became a signature, and it was all over the place. So it just got more attention. That's what I think.
I think Quick is more musical than Dre is, and more diverse than Dre is. Because if you look at Dre, I mean Quick's discography, he's touched all kind of genres of music. Not to say that one is doper than the other, but I think Quick is more diverse. And I didn't find out till I was listening to an interview. I mean, he even touched on some gospel stuff with Warren Campbell, Mary's producer and stuff. So yeah, to me, he's more diverse and more musical. I hear, like, you think about all the Quick's grooves. Dre doesn't have anything like that. Not to say that makes him better or worse, but Dre doesn't have anything like that in his catalog.
But why do you think? Because what I'm hearing you say is like almost like maybe something similar to the point of Quick has a better all-around game.
Yeah. Dre is an all-star. He can dunk on you, and he's more flashy. But Quick will give you, he's Tim Duncan.
But why do you? Is that so? My question was going to be then, why do you think if he has a better all-around game and he does all this stuff? And again, nobody's saying he's better than Dre, but why isn't Quick? Dre is usually mentioned in most people's top fives, if not top tens. So
Quick doesn't have a chronic.
Okay, Quick doesn't have a chronic. All right, Vague.
Yeah, I think the difference is just Dr. Dre is just attached to the biggest music that came out of the West Coast. NWA, the Chronic, Aftermath, Shady, like his pop. He's attached to everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For so long, whereas DJ Quick is on some of those albums. Tupac albums and everything, but you wouldn't really know because, I don't know. I think with DJ Quick, a lot of people just didn't know he was a producer. Right. They just looked at him as an MC.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know for years. I mean, and I'll be, again, y'all know me, I don't care. I've always been, when I saw Quick with a perm, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't need to listen to nothing this nigga gotta say. He got a perm. I'm good. Like, it literally was that cut and dry. Like, I think I may have heard one of his songs and I was like, nope, this is not for me. And just, so again, for years, I didn't know he was a producer. Why? Because I never brought an album to open the liner notes to read it or anything like that. You know what I mean? But like I said, the more as time is going by, I hear how much people praise Quick. You know what I mean? So again, I was just wondering, but I guess, Vague, you got that point up. Dre is attached to probably the biggest acts coming not only out of the West Coast, but some of the biggest acts ever in hip hop. You know what I mean? So that definitely makes a good point. Vague, what's another one for you, man?
Portia's gonna love these. One of my favorite beats of all time is probably just straight attached to my party, and it's Puff Daddy and the Family, All About the Benjamins. My God, when that joint would come on in a party, in a car, I mean, even now, it's like it's mandatory to have to take a damn time out to absorb that, say every verse all the way through the Biggie. Yeah. And then I could get back to whatever it was I was doing before that. I just love that beat, man. Like I don't know if it's anything special about it. I think D-Dot did that beat, right?
I did it, and I was gonna say it's on Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix. They just, I think, dropped 4 new episodes, and D-Dot actually talks about making that beat. So if cats haven't seen it, definitely check it out. He talks about making that shit and already knowing from the door when he made it. It was like, everybody.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they was in Trinidad or somewhere.
They was in Trinidad.
Yeah.
He was just in the corner, and he was like, "All right, everybody, shut that shit off. Come over here and listen to this." Like, everybody lost that. I remember hearing that on a Clue tape way before Puff's version was on it or nothing. Yeah.
That the Locks, right? I think it was just the Locks.
It was just the Locks. Yeah, but that is one of the dopest beats ever, easily.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. Yeah. And the crazy part, babe, you were much more of a clubber than I was. How did people dance to that? Because it's slow. So you would never think like that. Like it's almost like, I'll never forget, Buckshot said this line, and my man Rallo, God bless the dead, used to always say, "Kill, I'll never want to make hip hop." What did Buck say on "I Got You Open"? He said, "Not too underground to make you stop when you mingle." So, you know, my man Rallo would always be like, "Man, we gotta make stuff that's gonna get people jumping. I don't want to make it to where, you know, you mess up the whole flow of the party." But All About the Benjamins and Aaliyah, Are You That Somebody? I've been in clubs and people have lost their minds when that comes on. But it's bugged because they almost stop the group. You can't mix that with anything. Unless you pitch up All About the Benjamins all the way up on a technique, like you really can't blend it. So did people just not dance? They just lost their minds and just two-stepped it? What did people do when those joints came on?
It's the same thing they did when Shook Ones come on, man. You just almost, it doesn't have to be a part of a blend or sequence, because when that first note drops, you already know what it is. The party's already transformed into whatever's going to be to this record. Because, you know, like back in the 90s, like, yeah, people danced to a lot of hardcore records. But the dancing was more so just reciting that shit to each other. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it could be the ladies, it could be the guys. You just sitting there, you saying it to each other. I've been in situations in clubs where, yeah, you know, me and the fellas, the Benjamins is on. We all saying the verses in a little cipher, pointing at each other, pushing each other. Little Kim verse come on, you know, homegirl we know, step in the middle, start your neck. So, and we with it, you know what I'm saying? So it's more of a, it's less of a like a Soul Train line type, you know, let's dance, and more of a party or a gathering where, you know, we all love this record and we just enjoying it in the same way. And a song that was on the same album, but it was also on DITC's compilation on the song Day One, is the Young G's joint with Biggie, Puff, and Jay-Z. Originally on the mixtape circuit, it was only that big verse. And I remember hearing that, like, yo, I need to hear this whole song. Now, I didn't want Puff on it, and I almost didn't even want Jay-Z on it. Like, I wanted to hear Big take the whole line, take the whole song. I just love that joint Now Kill. I don't know where that sample comes from, but I just want to say Into the Dragon for some reason. Is that where that comes from?
Nah, I forgot what Day One is. I can't remember shit no more, to the point I have to literally write Post-its on records to remind me what it is. But I don't think it's Into the Dragon. I'm almost positive it's not Into the Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that definitely is that Day One for me is crazy. So that sample is stupid, man.
Yeah. I probably rapped over that joint a million times back in the 90s, man, because it was just like the first time I was able to actually get the instrumental without Big on it. And it was short. I think it was whatever Big rapped over was how long it was. Right. And I cherished that joint. I would write new stuff to it real quick. Me and Kel used to do this thing, like when we wrote a new dope verse, we would young kids, we had answer machines, we had voicemail. We would leave it on, we leave that voice, that verse on each other's answer machine, usually with a track. And I just love that track so much, man. I wrote like so many rhymes to that joint. Can't remember none of them now, but whatever.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what about you, good brother?
I'm gonna do a 2 for 1. Talk about Drake. Off the DOC's album, Let the Bass Go. And Funky Enough. I love the Silvers. Leon Silvers is a ridiculous producer in his own right. But the Funky Enough, that bass line, man, is just dope. And then when it broke it down, it's getting funky. And then all these songs take you back to time. So I had to be 10th, 11th grade, man. So that was just a great time of my life. So I'm gonna just throw those two off the DOC.
Yeah, that both of them joints. I mean, the Getting Funky for me, that's what really made me look at the West Coast. Like, cause I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then the video was dope too. So yeah, that's definitely dope. Next joint I got up is Players, Slum Village, Jay Dilla. one of my favorite beats. I can't tell you, Veg, how many times we played that 88.9. That could have been the damn theme song, not the whole KMD haircut thing. Like, we must have played that. I think every DJ would play that during their set. And that was like the one song nobody would ever get mad at. Because Kyle would be like, oh, Mike, you played my... Nobody cared how many times we played Players. Like, that was just crazy to me. It was dope. It just made it that much doper when we found out that the original sample was saying Clear, and Dilla had slowed it down to make it sound like Players. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, the original sample is like an acapella Take Six type group, and they're like, Clear, and he slows it down to make it sound like Players. And so that was always crazy to me. The beat, this is, a lot of people haven't heard this in this book. Mary J. Blige, Family Affair remix, Pete Rock. Pete Rock samples The Temptations, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, and destroys it. This goes to one of those Just Blaze chops, to where you hear it and you're like, again, I wouldn't have heard it. Listen, see, I messed it up for people if you didn't hear it, because now you're gonna hear it. But when I first heard it, I had no idea that this was, Papa Was a Rolling Stone. But then once you start hearing the strings, if you've never heard it, Mary J. Blige, Family Fair remix by Pete Rock, featuring CL Smooth. The Mofo uses Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Again, you can give me Papa Was a Rolling Stone. This is why I look up to them dudes like this is what I talk about where Knife is not on my Mount Everest, because Knife has never done me a moment like this. And again, it's no disrespect to Knife. I'm not saying anything bad about the brother, but I'm just saying, for me as a producer, these beats I'm naming are doing it. The B.I. versus Friendship, this Family Affair, like, a lot of cats haven't been able to do that for me. So again, it's no slide on Knife. It's just a lot of people haven't been able to do that, to where I'm like, God damn. Like, Veg, I don't know if you've ever had this moment. A lot of MCs say it, but I don't think they really mean it. I don't think none of us mean it. When you feel like you hear a rhyme and you're like, yo, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, yo, I can't do anything. Me and Nate was watching Black Thought's freestyle on Funk Flex the other day, and she was like, do you think anybody else is going to want to go up there after him? I'm like, that's a good question, baby. I don't know. Like, who wants to be the MC to follow up Black Thought's like 12-minute flawless freestyle? Like, you know what I mean? So, Veg, have you ever had that moment where you like, I'm done? Like, what am I doing? And again, not that you mean it, but just that a rhyme was so dope that you were just like, yo, why am I even wasting my time?
I think probably not like as an MC, because I always think about, like I said earlier, I always think about how would I approach it. So I don't sound whack after them. You know what I'm saying? So if I can't follow in the same vein or overdo them, I'll try to come up with something clever. But I've heard verses where it's so much within a couple of bars where I'm like again, man, Benny the Butcher, Rubber Bands and Weights. Yeah. That second verse, man, the way that joint started, I gotta turn it off halfway through the bar, because I'm like, yo, this thing is not only what he's saying, it's how he's saying it and how he's putting the words together and making you visualize it. And it's cool at the same time. He not standing on any of the bars like, look what I just did. He just keeps it moving. So there's certain people where, you hear stuff and you like, I got to start from the beginning, because I think I done missed mad shit off of that one line. I get it.
Right. No doubt. Porsche, what's another one for you, miss?
Do you want me to just give you my last two?
Yeah. You give us your last two.
Okay. I got Passing Me By the Far Side and Nothing But a G Thing by Dr. Dre. Yeah. And pretty much, like, again, that Passing Me By beat is, I love that it's scratchy. I love that it's just soft. It's, I don't know, something about it. Again, it kind of has its own, I don't want to say soul, but it's got its own sort of character. And I really like that. I think the song in general is just great. It's one of my favorite songs. And the beat is just amazing. I love how recognizable it is too. And I think it's so unique. I haven't really heard many tracks like that use the same sort of elements that one does, whether it's the scratchiness or the that little high pitched sound that we hear. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with these production terms, but the Passing Me By beat is great. And then Nothing But a G Thing, like that is just West Coast through and through. I love the synthesizer that Dre uses. I think, like I said, Dre is great. I think he's brilliant, of course, but I mean, he has that hold on the West Coast sound, and I think that one for me, Dre has a ton of beats that are dope and recognizable and, classics and trademarks in hip hop, but that one for me is my favorite.
All right. No doubt. Veg, what's another one for you? Oh, you might as well give me your last couple that you got left too.
Okay. Which is basically 2 and 2. I also got Dr. Dre, but I got Let Me Ride. Man, like I kind of slept on that beat when the Chronic first came out, because I was just looking for the hard stuff that he had put on there, and I was so captivated by that that joint was just cool to me. And then I remember, like, the second time I listened to the album after being blown away about how good it was, and Let Me Ride came on, I'm like, damn, this is like one of the coolest records I ever heard in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those beats that just captures exactly what it's about. Let me ride. Just let me sit in my car, drop top down, sunny day, and just ride. And I like the way they did the video because it really reflected that. Another one of my favorite beats, I say this all the time, Kill. I said it on your podcast. I said it on my podcast. It's the song that, like, puts me in my 90s bag. Like, if you want to see Angry Old Head, put on Gangstar's Mass Appeal, and I'm ready to knock niggas out. Like we don't, like, yo, skinny jeans, mumble rap, going back to the Timbs, the too big clothes, you know what I'm saying? Just punching in your face just for living. Like, I just love that beat, man. And like, Guru just has the perfect voice for it. He has the perfect lyrics for it. The video was like dark as hell. Like, you couldn't even see them. But it didn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just represented just a vibe. And it's one of those songs that I always say, like, you want to know why 90s cats are so adamant about how great the music was back then. Like, listen to records like Mass Appeal. It's like, you don't even know what the record's about. It's just suckers be playing themselves for Mass Appeal. That's all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? So I really love that record. As you can see, I'm getting extra hype. But as far as records, 2 more that I love the rhyme to: Impeach the President, man. Put that in your beat. I'm picking it every time, because that was like I think I even sent Kill a message like, yo, man, can you put this, can you make a beat with the what you call it? That shit is like crack to me, because when I was younger, I was a big hip hop fan and I didn't know how to rhyme. That beat just kind of gave me that urge to want to rhyme, you know what I'm saying? And every time I hear that, the drum and the snare and all of that, it just takes me back there. Even when when I was making this list and on YouTube, hit play on the joint, and as soon as I heard it, man, I was ready to start spitting over it. It's just a classic break beat that was in ciphers since forever. The last one that I like to rhyme over, probably not like one of my greatest, but I heard it the other day and it just kind of put me in my bag, is Iman Thug and Tragedy Gaddafi, True Confessions. You know what I'm saying? Iman Thug 252, like, yo, that beat, man. And maybe it's the sample, I don't know, but I just loved it to death, man. As soon as I heard it, and it's so, like, what people like about Wu-Tang and RZA in that early stage was how dirty everything sound, how almost low budget everything sound, and that's kind of how this beat sounds. Like, when you hear it, it's just really, you could tell, like, if somebody told you, like, oh yeah, Tragedy and Iman Thug, they recorded that in the project staircase, I'd believe that shit, because that's what it sounds like. Sound like you went to somebody's room and they made that beat. You know what I'm saying? Definitely one of my favorites to rhyme over back in the 90s. But yeah, that was my list.
All right, no doubt. Yo, here's the wild part about Masterpill, and I'm sure y'all know this, but for people who maybe watch may not, that, you know, Preem was saying that they used that sample basically because they wanted to sound like elevator music. You know what I mean? Because they were kind of like for not playing it. So it was almost like they wanted to sound like, you know, you got on the elevator, like you were just kind of bored to death type thing, which was dope. And that's another sample that took mofos like 30 years to find the original too. And it's crazy because then I always tell this to young producers. I always felt like it was hard for us no-name producers, even when I was back in Morgan, to keep up with the well-known producers for various reasons. You know, number one, I got 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like I have to go to work every day. You know, if I could listen to records all day long, I'm sure I'd be coming up with a whole bunch of crazy shit, but I don't have that. And the reason why I was saying that is because I've always gotten in the habit of just listening to, like, doing a needle drop. Listen to the first 10 seconds. I don't hear nothing. Okay, drop that shit in the middle. I don't hear nothing. All right, on to the next song. That Masterpill sample is like literally in the middle of the song for like 3 seconds. You know what I mean? So Primo had to be listening to that whole song to be able to really find that little 3-second gap that comes in at the 3:49 mark of a 6-minute song. Like, you know, and that's what producers always use. When eBay came out, Cash used to tell me, "Oh man, that cyber digging, you buying shit online, that ain't real digging." I'm like, my nigga, I don't get flown to different countries to come DJ like a Jazzy Jeff does. So I don't get to go to Germany on somebody else's dime, you know what I mean, and take 2 days out of my day to go digging in other countries like these producers do. So if I see something that I can't find, I gotta buy it online. You know what I mean? So it's just like a lot of times you can't keep up, but that was the Masterpill. The Peach thing, I'm with you. That's my favorite breakbeat ever. I remember the Sprite commercial that Pooh and them was on, you know, with the Impeach the President. I lost my mind when I saw that because I was like, yo, got to join on Sprite commercial. And I also always loved how Primo freaked Impeach the President for Biggie's Unbelievable. Because if I'm not mistaken, Big just told him, man, just hurry up and throw something together. Just use the Impeach the President. Like, you know what I mean? Because I think Preem was like, we got to get this ready to die out, but I want to get you on it. Preem was like, I'm busy. He was like, fuck it, just use Impeach the President. Just do something with it. And I felt like he flipped that, and then Pete flipped it on I&I's Faking Jacks. I think that may be my favorite freak of Impeach the Prez was the I&I joint. So that's dope. Vern, what's your last joint you got up?
I'm gonna rattle off about 10 or 11. All right, so Pete Rock, the joint he did for Adore, let it all hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go Q-Tip's way with Lyrics to Go and Electric Relaxation. Big Daddy Kane, Raw. I love. I mean, when he starts off with the, you know, just him rhyming, and then that beat drop, and then the guitar. I love that. Jay Dilla Love. Got to go with Running. By the Far Side and Stakes is High. Who Got the Props? Black Moon. Slow Down, Brand Nubian. KRS-One, still number 1. I love that joint, man. That's one of the ones, big, like you said, you come in and that song, that's like my theme music. And then my last two, Nick would beat me down if I didn't throw in some ATL. So I'm going Southern Playalistic. That song is like an anthem. I mean, whenever like it's a beautiful day outside and I'm riding around, I gotta play it at least once, man. It just puts me in the mood, you know, because it's very musical. It's not really sample heavy. It's got the horns and the bass and everything. And then I'm gonna end it with Cell Therapy. Goody Mob.
Yeah. That Cell Therapy is still crazy to this freaking day, man. The last joint I got, Vern, I'm right behind you with the Outkast, but I'm going with the Players Ball remix.
Yeah.
You know, it's the reprise at the end of Southern Playalistic, the album, but it's the one with that bass on that doom, 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 doom. Oh my God, man. You talk about listening to that on repeat all day long. And the last beat I had was Road to the Riches, Molly Mall. When I heard that piano break, I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. I want to say that was the first record I brought. It's a Billy Joel sample. And I just, to this day, like Road to the Riches just goes so crazy for me. The last two beats I have from a producer standpoint, I have Night of the Living Bassheads by Pete. The reason why I have that is, do I have a book called Creative License? Check it out, y'all. Y'all know I'm a bookworm. This is about the law and culture of digital sampling, basically just saying how 2 albums, It Takes a Nation of a Millions, and the Beastie Boys' Paul Boutique could not have been made post 2000 based off of how many samples they used and just based off of how no one would have been able to afford all these samples. The thing that amazed me when I started digging about the Bomb Squad and why they're so high on my list was because these mofos would literally take samples from like 12 different songs and make them fit perfectly. Like as a kid, I would listen to Night of the Living Bassheads, and if you asked me how many songs did this come from, I'd be like 1. You know what I mean? Like, because it just sounds perfect, but they're taking stuff from they taking JB's, the grunt, the drums, and then it's coffee. And the ill part is if you know the song where Professor Griff talks and he's like, sucker, we talking that sucker tag, like literally in the middle of the song, it just stops. That's a David Bowie sample. Like, what in the brain went from using the JB's to we're gonna just stop in the middle of this fucking song and put in David Bowie, you know what I mean? And then go back to the, like, it just, the stuff that the Bomb Squad were doing, and I get it, everybody has their own rationale for what their top 5 is. Again, me being a producer, like the stuff the Bomb Squad was doing was just unheard of. You know what I mean? And same thing with Dre. I always felt like Dre, of course, you said it earlier, borrowed a lot from Quick. I think he borrowed a lot from the Bomb Squad, especially early. Yeah. Like Straight Outta Compton and Niggas for Life, Dre. That's why to me, Ice Cube going to the Bomb Squad, when I heard that, I was like, that could sound good, because that's Dre basically what the Bomb Squad was doing. So that's the perfect walk-in to go work with the OGs of it. The second song I had was Real Niggas Don't Die off of NWA's second album, Niggas for Life. My favorite Dre beat, hands down. There's so much stuff going on in that song from the Rare Earth. I just want to celebrate. Again, that's why I do like whosampled.com, because you're able to see how many, it's just amazing to me. Like, my brain just doesn't work like that. I'm a very loop-oriented producer. I always look at myself like a Ski Beats type producer, like Lucchini. Great beat, but it's just one sample. Just one sample, you know what I mean? Like most beats, I mean, even to Come Clean, it's just one sample. It's that it doesn't make it. I've had all these discussions about, oh, it's a loop. It's, who cares? If I ask people y'all top 5 favorite hip hop songs, it's probably gonna be 5 loops. Like there's nothing wrong with a loop. You don't have to put 50 million different things into it, but when you do, it just makes me love it that much more. You know what I mean? Like if your grandma make macaroni and cheese with 8 different cheeses and it tastes good, that's fine. If she make it with 1 cheese and it tastes good, that's fine. But the Bomb Squad, and even Pete was very much like that. When I first heard Straighten It Out, you could not tell me that the horns weren't from the same place that the sample was from, but the horns are from Kool and the Gang. The sample is from, God, I can't remember, Ernie Hines. But when you hear Straighten It Out, it just sounds like it's all coming from the same place. So that's what I talk about when we talk about people who use the words genius all the time. That's genius shit. But you can take 5 different things and make somebody think it's all the same song and it just fits perfectly. So yeah, if you never heard those, and I'm like, Vern, I got some more. Lucchini's one of my favorite hip hop.
Yes, sir.
Grinding, one of my favorite hip hop. Like, I'm one of the people who believe grinding, those drums should be now officially looked at as a breakbeat. That's the first programmed drums that I have ever used. If I had a hip hop voting card for the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, Pharrell, of all fucking people, Pharrell. Like, I'm not saying Pete Rock, I'm not saying Premier, I'm not saying Dilla. Pharrell's drums for grinding need to be an official breakbeat, because when grinding came out, I don't know anybody who was not hitting their desk, or I just started working with kids. All the kids would be beating that on their desk. That's a break beat. De La's Ring, Ring, Ring. We going back to the Peach the President. If I'm not mistaken, that is, God, don't even give me a line on who the sample is, but this, I love the sample. I love the break beat. I love the concept. Dope Deep Cover and G thing for Dre. First time I heard Deep Cover, that bass line, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Hearing Snoop for the first time, it was like, this is crazy. Shook Ones, and then Annie Up. Annie Up is, you know, one of my favorite beats ever. For years, people thought Premier did it. It's DR period. You know what I mean? But that Annie Up is just a crazy song, and I love it. It always represents to me what I always tell people: just make dope hip hop, and prayerfully people will pick up on it. Because I said MOP tried to make their Get On Hot 97 song with the Rocky sample and Jay-Z, and on paper it looked good. Like, yo, we gonna sample Rocky, everybody knows Rocky, we gonna get Jay-Z, everybody knows Jay-Z, and we gonna be on Hot 97. Ain't nobody play that shit. You know what I mean? Then you make a song about robbing people, and on the album, Flex is on the album. The very person who would not play your shit is actually on your album. When you listen to Warriors and you play Andy Up, you're hearing Flex scratch it. Like, you don't even get the OG hearing Flex. The very person who would never play your stuff, make dope music. Prayerfully, people will pick up on it. Quick question. You about to say something, Bang?
No, I was just going to say, man, Annie Up is the same thing we said, man. It's that build up, man. It's like that intro that's building, like that's the get the fuck off the damn floor. Violence. You know, but I had two like bonus joints. Brand New being One for All. That's another one of the joints. As soon as I hear it, I'm in my 90s bag. And Pete Rock produced Holy Moly for Talib Kweli. Yeah. The joint with the gospel sample, and in the beginning, Talib is talking about how his father used to play a lot of records, and he had this one gospel record that was crazy, and you could tell he probably gave it to Pete Rock, or Pete Rock turned that shit into gold. Like, it's just such a dope record, man. It's one of those records, Kill, you was talking about, like, not being able to follow rappers after they do something crazy. Beats like that used to make me feel like, damn, why Pete didn't get that to me? Like, you know, I wanted that joint. Like, take Talib off of it. I want it. So, yeah.
It's funny you named Pete. I got one more off of this joint, New York's Finest. Pete Rock, We Roll, featuring Jim Jones and Max B. Now, at the time this came out, I actually, God forbid, think I need glasses now because I can't even. Yo, you know you're getting old when you reading a pill bottle and you got to take a picture of it and then blow it up.
Yep.
You can't read. Not that vague. I can't. Like, literally, I be taking pictures of shit, then have to blow it up on my phone to read it. But when this came out, I was not messing with Jim Jones or Max B at all. Was not a fan of them at the time. This We Roll joint where Pete takes Kool and the Gang Summer Madness and totally just annihilates it. And it's what made me say a lot of times, it made me realize that a lot of MCs that I didn't like at the time, it's just their beats. You know what I mean? Because you put Jim Jones over the type of beats I like, I'm like, yo, this nigga Jim is nice. Like, but it's just the fact that he's been over beats that I don't like. Like, here's a funny story. Nobody believed this. I didn't even want to say it on Twitter because I didn't want to hear everybody's mouth. The Lox was at the Howard on Tuesday. I ended up not going because I didn't feel good. But I just realized like 2 days before, I've never heard a Lox album in my life. I've never heard a Lox album. Now, I've heard Jadakiss albums. I've heard Styles albums. I've never heard a Lox album. So I'm listening to We Are the Streets. And I'm like, yo, this shit is hard as hell. But here's the thing. If I would have listened to that in 2000 when it dropped, I probably wouldn't have liked it because it was Swiss beat heavy. And I was in my boom bag. Like, Vay, you talk about being in your 90s bag. I was in my boom bag. You know what I mean? So even if I would have listened to We Are the Streets when it dropped in 2000, I probably wouldn't even liked it. But listening to it now, I was like, yo, this shit is hard, man. Like, yo, I missed out. But it just goes to show you how certain times you hear certain people over certain beats, how it can affect you differently. Quick question, Vay, are you interested? We got a new Gangstar album coming out. Are you hyped?
I'm not hyped. I'm cautiously waiting to see what happens, man. And this don't even have anything to really do with J. Cole. Right. It just has to do with the timing and what happened, like right before Guru died and where Guru and Premier were. And sometimes I don't like the idea of. I mean, it worked for A Tribe Called Quest because Fife was all over the album.
Right.
But are we gonna get like Gangstar and Friends because you only got a couple of Guru verses. Right. And then, I'm sorry, I like J. Cole. But Gangstar albums, typically, if it wasn't the foundation, they typically had certain MCs on.
Right.
And I'd rather hear Dave East on that. I'd rather hear Nipsey if he was still here on some Gangstar. Once you saying like, oh, J. Cole's on here and that's the first thing, I don't know, man. So I don't think, I just got to wait to hear it, to be honest.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what about you? Now, again, we're talking about your hype, because here's the thing. I'll listen to damn near anything, but am I hyped for it? Like, I'm hyped for this Retropolitan. I can't wait till midnight comes and I can listen to that. I'm hyped. But are you hyped for a new Gangstar?
No. Unequivocally, no. I mean, like you say, what I've learned in my business, I underpromise and overdeliver. I'd rather go in with no expectations and be pleasantly surprised than be all geeked up and be let down, because more often than not, that's what happens, especially with, legacy artists.
Right.
Yeah, so you ain't gonna get me with the banana in the tailpipe.
Of course. What about you, sis?
Am I hype? No, I'm not hype. I'm hype about this Pete Rock and Sky Zoo joint that's coming out. I'm hype about that. I've been counting down. Like, that's hype. Gangstar, I mean, I'll listen to it. I'm a little bit nervous about what it's going to sound like. And honestly, the J. Cole single doesn't really bother me, to be honest, that J. Cole's a feature. I was telling Kill earlier today, J. Cole's a dope featured MC. I think he kills his features. So if it's put together properly, I think it could work. I'm not averse to Cole, but I have said on Twitter, if I see Drake on that, I'm out. Like that whole thing is going like straight into the trash. Like, no way. So Cole I can deal with and I can handle and I can accept and love. But Drake is where I draw the line. So hopefully it doesn't go there. But other than that, I will definitely check for it.
Yeah, and for me, I'm not hype at all. It's funny, I was telling people that and people was getting on me on Twitter, oh, well, you hip hop and you don't want no new Gangstar. I said, see, y'all mofos don't remember when Jordan retired the second time. Mm-hmm. And I remember everybody be like, oh, we want Jordan back. Then that nigga went to the Wizards. And then all them same mofos be like, I wish he never went to the Wizards. And then people were trying to trick me. Then people yesterday was like, nah, the Wizards years wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Okay, you're right. They weren't that bad, but they're not Jordan years.
Right.
I don't know any Jordan fans who'd be like, yo, in that time when Mike did fill in the blank and for the Wizards. That doesn't happen. So I've just never been one for like, I want more. I'm kind of good with what you left. Then it's too many question marks. It's like, are these old songs that were in the vaults? And for me, the Nas's Lost Tapes made sense, the first one, because it was kind of like, these are the songs that would have made the album, but we were kind of going for airplay or couldn't get sampling clearance. So it made sense, whereas Gangstar's always been for the streets. So my question then becomes, well, then why was it in the vaults? Like, it made sense to why these Nas joints were in the vaults, but then why did these stay in the vaults and stayed in the vaults for what, 12 years? You know what I mean? And are they just acapellas? Are you taking stuff off of Bald Head Slick, those albums, and trying to make beats around? I've never been a fan of those, dead rappers. Try to get the acapellas and max them up, and so it's just too many question marks. I heard the first single. It's not bad. It's not great. Like I was saying earlier, it's weird because if you ask me what I like about it the most, I like J. Cole the most. Then there's Guru's verse, and then there's the beat. And I can't ever say in life there's ever been a time that the beat has been the like, it literally was like background music to me. It was like you said, Portia, J. Cole kills his features. J. Cole kills it. It's good to hear Guru's voice, but the engineer in me can kind of hear the where the mix is off like by a millisecond, and then it's kind of like the beat. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Of course I'll listen to it. But am I hyped for it? Hell no. Vegas, give them all the information, bro. Where can they get at you, man?
One last point. I think also, like when you look at, I think you did a show on this. Gangstar had like, what, 4 classics in a row? Yeah. So it's kind of they also had the Owners was the last album.
Yeah, the Owners was the last joint.
Yeah, they had some heat.
Yeah,
so kind of like the bar is really high, and to not have Guru here, and to probably not have Premier at a point where he was.
Right.
That's what kind of makes it shaky. So, but I didn't hear the single yet. I didn't hear the album yet. So,
and I think that's a great point because a lot of people are like, "Well, yo, I trust Premier's ear," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't." Okay, I know nobody's.
I'm one of those people. I said that. I
know nobody's supposed to say that, and Premier's the OG. Him and Dilla are 1A and 1B. Produced like that's my God right there. If there's a producer, like it's like no disrespect. I'm not saying God. I'm just saying like that's the OG for me. That's why I want it to be like. So it's no disrespect, but I don't think anybody can honestly say with a straight face that Premier's heat is what it was, 20 years ago. Nor should it be. I mean, he's older now, but
right.
If you tell me, Kill, these are beats from 1995 to 1998 that Premier is finding acapellas to, you piqued my interest, But if you tell me that these are beats that Primo, y'all know I love Griselda. I hated that joint that they did with Premier. What I mean? We used the same sample, and I was just like, yo, why would Primo like? And I go, no, nobody wants to say it, but I just got to keep it funky. Like I didn't like it at all. Like, you know what I mean? And they did it at the show, and it was the one time at the Griselda show I was just standing there like, I don't know these words. Like, I don't know nothing about the song. Can we get back to Derringer and Alchemist, please? Like, but so I don't trust Premier's ear right now to be like, okay, these are, whatever. But my bad, babe. Give them all the information, man.
You can follow me on social media at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my YouTube podcast with Tony of IntoTheDome.com. It's called That Time in Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying? We did a couple of episodes. We just did one on what did we do? Ja Rule versus 50 Cent that we just put out. So check that out. It's on the B-Roll Network. All you got to do is search for it and get caught up on your hip hop history.
No doubt.
Dope shows.
Here's the wild part, babe. I don't know if you peeped last week's show. I sent some people to your podcast because I said, you don't have to join this church. We trying to get come back home, and I said, hey, this ain't about church. You ain't got to join Apartment 5B. We got That Time in Hip Hop. I shouted out no knockoff radio.
Yeah, Shauna.
Podcast. There's other church homes that y'all could join if you stands need to be a part of something. Apartment 5B doors are always open. That Time in Hip Hop. Don't feel like you're alone and you got to be a stand. The church doors are open. My fault.
Well, you know how that go though. They ain't coming to my church because you actually talking to them.
Right,
I'm
right.
out the gate like, yo, get the fuck out of here.
Right. Okay, well, I apologize. Apartment 5B, the doors are open. Come on in. That Time in Hip Hop. Bird, give them everything, man.
I just read that Black Moon has a new album coming out at midnight, I think.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I will say this, Kill. I did hear the first single because I was like you, looking at them. I'm like, nah, this ain't the Black Moon. When I was a teenager, like, who the hell are these guys? But then when I heard the first single, I was kind of like, I don't know. It might be something, but that's only one record, so who knows?
All right. On Instagram at V the Loan Closer, on Twitter at VChandler10.
And again, if y'all are in Atlanta, Georgia, anywhere around there, you need to buy a house. This man is the closer, like to the core. Like his IG, I'm like, bro, how many houses do you sell a day? Like, bro, like, so if you're in that area and everybody's moving, they done named Tyler Perry, got a whole boulevard.
Yeah.
He got an exit.
Yeah.
Yo, if you're moving to Atlanta, trying to get your dreams on, this is the person who you need to be talking to about the real estate market and all that good stuff. Just partner with what? Georgia State Football or
University of Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah.
Very dope.
Go see them beat down on Notre Dame this Saturday.
All right. Yeah. Porsche, give them everything, miss.
Just Twitter, at Cherchez La Porsche.
All right, no doubt. You already know it is with me. We'll make beats for food.com at Kill889. Me and Vegas have out. You all welcome. Not y'all welcome. God, man, that's the.
We did. That was you.
Y'all are welcome.
We did, but the funny thing is, Yao. That's the name of Yao's album. So I was. Me and Vegas have out. Keep Calm. We brought friends. It's a concept album. We have guests for a reason. So I don't want nobody talking about Kill. You always talking about third verses, and you and Vegas album got guests on every album. That was the concept. Yao's You're All Welcome is out there. I did a joint, wrecked it 2 joints, very dope album. My young boy Bruce has his album out, Adolescent Tape. My man Jamal Gasol, me and my man Keystar did his album, No Joy Without Pain 3. So it's always some music out there at Kill889 on Twitter and IG. And we still got 2 tickets left for Benny the Butcher Tuesday. This Tuesday coming up. So we'll be posting this on Monday. You get with me before Tuesday. I still got 2 tickets left to give away for the Benny show out here at the Howard Theater. As always, I appreciate y'all. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm dropping sign. Why am I best in this profession? All the things Marley does in the studio.